After getting my offer from Cambridge University, I decided to skip the college entrance exam. When class queen Fiona found out, she rushed over and slapped me. She said everyone's equal in exams, so why should I be special? Maybe my nerd status was fake, and I was afraid of getting exposed. In my past life, Fiona's exam essay was identical to mine, word for word. I turned to my proctor brother Mike and my first crush Chris, who was in the same exam room, for help to clear my name. But they both pleaded for leniency, asking the school to let me repeat the year, considering it was my first offense. Amidst the growing scandal, I became notorious as a cheater. Unable to clear my name, I got expelled, banned from retaking exams ever again. My parents were also harassed online, lost their jobs, and aged overnight. Falling from grace to disgrace, I sank into depression. On a frosty, snowy night, I ended my life, but when I opened my eyes again, I was back a week before the college entrance exam. Emma, I made some porridge. Eat up before studying, okay? You've lost weight lately. Mike placed porridge and chopped fruits on my desk, his actions nearly making me fall off my chair in shock. Then Chris walked in, setting down a food container. Heard you've lost your appetite. I made chicken soup to boost your strength. I had seen this twice before. In that past life, I thought I was the luckiest person alive. My brother Mike, 7 years older, always cherished me. And Chris, who grew up with me, was like family even though he wasn't. But having lived again, my heart felt cold. That last time, my exam essay matched Fiona's word for word. It was reported to the Education Bureau immediately. I had a great shot at a Cambridge offer, but this scandal swept me into a storm of controversy. I reached out to Mike and Chris for help, hoping they could clear my name, but they refused. Mike even apologized on my behalf, asking the school to let me redo a year, as it was my first mistake. Their plea sparked a heated online discussion. How could she dare cheat on such a big test? Her proctor was her brother. Clear case of insider cheating. Exactly. Someone so dishonest should be banned from exams forever to spare others. Right, she wants a redo. Dream on. Under such pressure, the school rejected Mike's appeal. Shortly after, exam results came out. I, always top of the class, scored just over 200 points. Fiona, always at the bottom, excelled and became the exam champion. Her essay was turned into a model piece, read aloud by teachers. She became the beautiful genius, while I was branded a cheater. The severity of it got me permanently banned from exams. The school even refused to grant my high school diploma. Without qualifications, I ended up delivering food. Customers would pour it on me and leave terrible reviews. My parents, disgraced by my actions, got fired and fell ill overnight. To cover soaring medical bills, I took a job sorting packages. But a few days in, the boss recognized me, refused to pay, and kicked me out. Penniless and hopeless, I gave up on life. On a snowy night, I jumped into a freezing lake. Watching Mike hustle about and Chris fuss over my health left me feeling mixed emotions. Emma, I've predicted the exam essay topics. Prep according to my notes, and you're sure to score full marks. Mike presented the compiled topics with confidence. Chris chimed in with humor. Emma, you better top the exams. I'm bringing you chicken soup every day. You'd let the chickens down otherwise. What was meant to be a joke just didn't amuse me. Mike, my real brother, would never plot against me. Chris, my lifelong companion despite his bluntness, always had my back. He once almost landed a guy in the ICU for picking on me. So, it couldn't be them. Then where did it all go wrong? I've always excelled academically, topping my class. Even in a competitive high school, I never dropped below third place. Teachers said I had a shot at the best university. So when the cheating scandal broke, most believed in my innocence. Plus, my past essays had won prizes. I didn't need to cheat. But that's when Fiona released footage from the exam hall. The video showed her submitting her paper 10 minutes earlier than me. Moreover, she had predicted the essay topics before the exam and shared her insights on social media. Her exam essay followed those guidelines. Suddenly, the backlash from netizens was overwhelming. Emma clearly copied Fiona. The evidence is undeniable. How dare she argue? They say she's been a nerd. Her past grades must have been stolen, just undiscovered. Thank goodness Mike and Chris didn't help her fabricate lies, or the real victim to be Fiona. The scandal quickly trended on social media, prompting the Education Bureau to investigate Fiona's evidence. They confirmed the video and social media posts were genuine, unaltered. They concluded I copied Fiona. I was dumbfounded. That essay was my original work. How on earth did it turn into plagiarism? But I had nothing to prove my claim. Why did Fiona's essay imitate mine? Did Mike share his essay predictions with Fiona too? Riddled with these questions, I found Mike and Chris acting normal. I had no choice but to start from Fiona's social media. If my timing was right, her predictive posts should be up already. But Mike and Chris hovered too closely for me to dive in. I hurriedly jotted down an outline to cover myself and faked a stomachache to head to the bathroom. Chris flashed a look of impatience. Drama queen, Mike's already given you the essay topics, and you still want a break. Mike interjected to ease the tension. There's plenty of time. Don't rush, Emma. Prepping as I said'll surely get her a good score. But time to uncover the truth was slipping away. I locked the bathroom and quickly logged into Fiona's social account. I heard her parents were Cambridge professors, and she was pretty, so she had quite the following. But Fiona and I barely interacted. However, Mike, a Cambridge teaching assistant, had met her before. I once overheard him telling Chris Fiona seemed feminine, while I was like a tomboy. He even joked about wanting a girlfriend like Fiona, refined, beautiful. Back then, I thought he was joking. Thinking back now, maybe he meant it, but I just can't figure it out. Why would someone like Fiona, someone so incredibly gifted, want to mess with me? That's when I saw her latest post. She said she'd guessed the essay prompt for the college entrance exam, and wanted to share it with everyone. As soon as I saw the topic she picked, I froze. Wasn't this the exact prompt Mike helped me with? Fiona even shared her unique insights on the essay prompt, and they were identical to the notes I had casually scribbled on my scratch paper. Underneath her post, the comments were full of compliments. Wow, the blogger is not just beautiful but also generous. Sharing exam topics like this, amazing. For real, if I saw this on the test, I'd totally blank out. Thank goodness for her analysis. Guessing the same topic might be a coincidence, but how did her essay outline match mine exactly? Only Mike and Chris have been in my study, so it had to be one of them. That thought sent chills down my spine. I just don't get why they'd do this. Could the bonds of family and growing up together really not outweigh a half-year friendship with Fiona? I sat on the toilet for an hour, thinking things over, and decided to take a risk. Since I already know the essay topic, and in the previous life, they accused me of plagiarism, even though it was the writing style I excelled at. Though it scored high, it wasn't perfect. This time, I've decided to write the essay. If Fiona's last essay was word for word the same as mine, then I'm going to write something new. Doesn't matter if the score's high or low, at least it would clear my name of plagiarism. The next morning, I sneaked out early to my grandma's place before Mike woke up. Honestly, I was a bit hesitant. After all, writing a college entrance essay is not only difficult, but also very risky. The moment Grandma saw me, she served me a steaming bowl of millet porridge. My dear Emma, what's wrong? Why the long face? I forced a bitter smile. Grandma, would you be disappointed if I didn't get into Cambridge? Grandma patted my head, smiling tenderly. Silly child, never. I just want you to be happy. Even if you don't get in, you'll still have me, and I'll take care of you. Her words gave me the determination I needed. After leaving Grandma's, I got a call from Mike. Emma, where'd you disappear to? Chris brought breakfast for you and got mad when he couldn't find you. I replied flatly. I went out to get study materials. I'll be back soon. I decided not to tell them about my plan to write the essay. After all, in the last life, they were the prime suspects in the plagiarism incident. I headed to the library study room to rework my essay. Plus, it made it easier to look up resources. Halfway through writing, I took a stretch, planning to take a tiny break. Curious about what Fiona was up to, I let my mind wander. Just then, Mike and Chris showed up. I was puzzled. How did they know I was there? The next second, Mike placed a steaming food container on my desk. Figured you'd forget to eat while studying, so I brought you some food. Chris handed me a thermos, fresh squeezed orange juice. I heated it up since you have a sensitive stomach. They seemed so genuine. It was hard to believe they'd be out to harm me. Was I overthinking it? If not them, then who else? My head was in a fog as I tried to muster a smile. You came at the right time. I was feeling hungry. Let me just wash my hands first. Grabbing my phone, I headed to the restroom. Instead of going in, I stood by the sink and checked Fiona's social media. Sure enough, she'd posted something new. What bad luck. Sharing an exam prompt only to have someone outright use my essay outline. It's not certain the prompt will come up, but it's disgusting. I'm rethinking my essay. The photo showed the back of someone studying at the library. Anyone familiar would know that back was mine. But who snapped that pic? Someone asked Fiona in the comments what her new plan was. Fiona replied, saying she wanted to write her essay. I was caught off guard. I hadn't talked to anyone about using this way. Even if it's just coincidence, why would Fiona pick a style she wasn't good at? There's definitely a spy. Mike or Chris, or maybe both are involved. What would they gain? Suddenly, someone tapped my shoulder. Emma, you zoned out. Startled, I turned. It was just Mike and Chris checking on me since I was gone so long. Still shaken, I replied curtly, you guys can go. I'll eat soon. Chris snapped, Emma, we came to bring you food. and this is your reaction. Don't think I haven't noticed you've been avoiding us. You're wasting our goodwill. Mike tried to smooth things over. Chris doesn't mean it, he's just worried. We're both concerned for your well-being. I quickly responded, the campus is secure with guards. I can stay in the dorm to save the trip if it bothers you. Chris rolled his eyes. Suit yourself. Nobody's forcing you. With that, he dragged Mike out, leaving me relieved. Later that night, I returned to the dorm around 10:30. Upon entering, I heard my roommates gossiping about Fiona. Curious, I peeked at a photo they were discussing. It showed 3 hands holding up bubble tea with a caption, spoiled by my brothers. I immediately recognized Mike and Chris's hands. When did they get so close? And why was I out of the loop? I took out my phone to check Fiona's Twitter. That's where I saw comments from Mike and Chris. Fiona is always our little princess. Don't worry, Fiona, we'll make sure you come out on top. I blinked, questioning my eyesight, but as I refreshed, the posts vanished. So, they were involved in the plagiarism after all. Seeing that left me oddly calm. Knowing who to watch makes things easier. I've decided not to go home until after the exams. They should have no way to help Fiona cheat now. I can focus on my studies without worry. Unexpectedly, I woke up in the middle of the night to find Lily sneaking through my notebooks. Startled, I shouted, Lily, what are you doing? Lily jumped, dropping the notebook. Why are you yelling? Don't think I don't know. You're the one copying Fiona. Living in the same dorm with a plagiarist. What a bummer. It's already nice that we haven't kicked you out. And yet here you are, shouting like a hooligan. So uncivilized. Turns out, Fiona deliberately led her fans to dig up my personal info and posted it in the comments section. The insults came flooding in. My social media was filled with nasty comments. Someone even put a dead rat in my backpack. Feeling helpless, I went to our class teacher Ken. In my past life, when I was wrongfully accused of plagiarism, he stood by me, trying to help clear my name. Although we failed back then, he's my only hope now. Ken, upon hearing my situation, immediately arranged a private room for me to prepare for exams. Everything else would have to wait until the exams were over. I finally wrapped up my essay. With the exam in 2 days, all I had to do was write it down on the test paper. I let out a deep breath, thinking it was over. But then Fiona updated her social media again. She hinted to everyone that my classical essay was complete. The post came with a blurred photo of notes. Yet somehow, I recognized the final lines as being identical to mine, finished just moments ago. She even posted it 10 minutes before me. I was devastated and tore my notebook to shreds. Was my rebirth in vain? Unable to escape the fate of being plagiarized again, I was ready to give up. Just then, Ken called me. He said I got a guaranteed spot at Cambridge University, meaning I didn't need to take the exams. Hearing this news was a complete energy boost. I had no idea why this change happened, but I didn't care anymore. With a guaranteed spot at Cambridge, I figured it was time for Fiona to face the music. I kept the news of my acceptance, and not needing to take exams to myself. The night before the exams, I revamped my essay. Isn't Fiona fond of copying? I'll let her copy to her heart's content this time. After finishing the last exam, Fiona was the first to leave the exam hall. Outside, there was a mob, including some online influencers live streaming. Seeing Fiona, they swarmed around. Hey there, you look confident. Must have aced it, huh? Before Fiona could answer, Chris jumped in. Of course, she's the genius beauty from our class, and she even nailed the essay topic. The live stream exploded with fans praising Fiona, saying she'd surely make it to Cambridge. Fiona looked proud, but then a bunch of cops rushed over and cuffed her. They said, "You've been reported for engaging in illegal sex trades. Please come with us for investigation." The police's stern voice visibly shook Fiona. Everyone outside the exam hall was stunned. What's going on? Isn't she a genius beauty? How could she be involved in this? Could the police be mistaken? Maybe someone's jealous and set her up. I knew why Fiona was panicking. She had a guilty conscience. After learning about my spot at Cambridge, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. My emotional intelligence and reasoning seemed to return. Remembering everything about Fiona, I knew her parents were Cambridge professors, but even professorial salaries couldn't support Fiona's spending habits. That girl was always decked out in expensive clothes, bags, and even designer socks costing thousands. I realized she must have a hidden secret. I secretly dug around and uncovered some shocking truths. Every weekend, Fiona traveled with wealthy men, using her innocent looks and hot figure to latch onto a billionaire. The guy was generous enough to fund her extravagant lifestyle, but reporting her straight away felt unsatisfying. So, I laid a trap. Didn't Fiona love to copy? I'd let her trip on her own. I wrote my essay, but with a twist. It was an acrostic poem. The first word of each sentence spelled out Fiona's self-revelation. She unwittingly confessed her dirty deeds in her exam essay. I wanted Mike and Chris to see their idol's true colors. As she was about to be taken away, Fiona pointed at me, accusingly yelling, "It's not me. The real shameless one doing those things is her." Suddenly, all eyes were on me. Chris stepped forward to defend Fiona. "She's from a good family. Her parents are Cambridge professors. There's no way she'd do such disgusting things. It's Emma, who has no moral boundaries and even plagiarized Fiona's essay, all out of jealousy." Just then, other students finished their exams and came out, including Mike. Hearing Fiona accused of shady activities, Mike's expression turned dark. "That's nonsense. Someone must be setting Fiona up. I swear on my reputation and career that she wouldn't do such things." He glared at me. "Emma, is it you? Jealous of Fiona stealing Chris and me? So you plotted revenge. You've been sneaky since a week before exams. I bet you peeked at Fiona's essay to cheat. She didn't mind, yet you're still accusing her." I looked at Mike and Chris, thinking it felt like I was meeting them for the first time. In this life, they turned on me even faster and more ruthlessly than before. I slapped them both, coldly questioning, "Mike, Chris, do you have proof I copied Fiona?" Chris immediately slapped me back. "You did copy Fiona's essay just now, lying and hitting people. Who gave you the right?" I snickered. "Are you sure I copied her? If I didn't, you better kneel and apologize." Chris shrugged defiantly. "I'm sure you did. Surveillance footage will back me up." Chris urged Mike to get the footage from the classroom, but watching it, they froze. Chris snatched the footage, confused, and stopped in his tracks. The footage showed I hadn't written a single word from the first exam to the last. I submitted everything blank. When I got the news about Cambridge, my first revenge thought was not showing up for exams. Let's see how Fiona could copy nothing. But on second thought, sitting with Chris and having Mike as an invigilator, not taking the exam would raise alarms. To avoid suspicion, I asked Mr. Ken if I could attend, but submit blank papers. Ken laughed and said sure, as long as I didn't find it boring. Anyway, I've already secured a guaranteed spot. So even if I cause a scene, nothing will really happen. When they found out I left the paper blank, Fiona, Mike, and Chris looked totally pale. The crowd around us just kept growing, and even the viewer numbers in a few internet influencers' live streams kept going up. The comments in the streams were pretty wild too. Who would have thought such a sweet-looking academic girl was doing this behind the scenes? Didn't they say her family had good values? What a joke. Yeah, slandering a girl like that, and Mike isn't any better, helping others slander his own sister. Is that what brothers do? Is he even her real brother? Wow, this is eye-opening. Just the other day, I heard about that plagiarism scandal, and this Fiona has always been posing as a star student while secretly getting people to cyberbully that girl. But I have a relative working at that high school. I heard the girl Fiona framed was already guaranteed admission to Cambridge. Why would she need to cheat off Fiona? It's ridiculous. Mike saw this comment and couldn't believe it, asking, "Emma, why didn't you tell me about your admission? You see me running around every day for your exams, and you're just enjoying this." Chris chimed in, "Yeah, Emma, you're so mean, pretending not to know anything. And here I was, bringing you chicken soup every day. I must be blind. Are you guys really caring about me? Or is it just for Fiona? You know the truth. Acting like you're concerned about my exams is just so Fiona can have someone to blame. It's a win-win for you." Mike looked frustrated as I hit the nail on the head. "Even so, you can't slander Fiona. You know how important a girl's reputation is, more than I do, right? Aren't you afraid Fiona will sue you for defamation?" Hearing this, Fiona cried crocodile tears. "Mike, I really didn't do it. Emma's the one slandering me. You have to get justice for me." She then clung to the police officer's arm. "Officer, I'm truly innocent. If you're going to arrest someone, arrest Emma too." The officer calmly removed her hand, saying seriously, "If we're here to apprehend you, we have evidence. Without evidence, we're not going to act rashly. We wanted to save you some face, but since you don't want it, forget it." At his words, Fiona's face went completely pale. In this new life, remembering the past, I thought Fiona was just wicked, but after getting dirt on her, she seemed both dumb and evil to me. She didn't even bother to hide the dirty things she did. Investigating her was like a walk in the park. There was so much evidence. It's like fate was helping me out. I gathered all the evidence and sent it to the police before calling them. Anyone could have guessed that, except Fiona. She's publicly digging her own grave. So why stop her? Seeing the evidence of her shady dealings exposed made Fiona's face turn all kinds of red and white from anger. In the end, unable to take it anymore, she begged the police to take her away. Mike and Chris went along too, trying to prove Fiona's innocence. Watching Fiona get taken away felt incredibly satisfying. Everything she did to me in the past life, this time, she's getting it all back. As soon as Fiona was gone, everyone gathered around me. Even the live streamers stopped filming others and turned their cameras on me. "So, you're the mysterious top student getting into Cambridge this year. You're so low-key. Smart people like you, with not just brains, but also the nerve to clear your name so decisively. You deserve all kinds of praise. But hey, Is that Mike really your brother? Why would a brother side with another girl? With a brother like that, better to have none at all. Not just that, her first love, who was helping that girl attack her. What a curse. Having people like that all around her. This reminded me of when I got cyberbullied. In the past life, after Fiona framed me for plagiarism, I faced similar scenes every time I stepped out. But back then it was all about getting bullied online. This time, it's praises. Still, it feels so bittersweet. Spectators' judgments have always been shallow. They never seek the truth, just follow the crowd. This mentality ruined me in the past, and now it's the tool I'm using for payback. But their remarks gave me a nudge. Chris switching loyalty for a prettier and wealthier Fiona, making sense. But Mike, what's his deal? Could he possibly not be my real brother? This thought sent shivers down my spine. I hurried home, snatched some hair off Mike's bed, and went straight to a DNA testing center. I might have just stumbled upon something huge this time. Due to the Fiona case, the police contacted me for a statement. The officer who met with me was an older guy named Mark. He had lots of patience and seemed experienced. After finishing the statement, I told him about my suspicions, my biggest puzzle from this life and the last. Even with Fiona caught, I still had no idea how she managed to cheat. I laid out all my thoughts to Officer Mark. He pondered for a moment, then glanced around my study, zeroing in on my glasses. He asked if he could take a look. Without hesitation, I handed them over. Mark squinted, studying my glasses carefully, then suddenly realized. So that's the trick behind these things. I was still lost, not getting his point. Seeing my confusion, Mark pulled out a pocket-sized toolkit and used a tiny screwdriver from it. He unscrewed the front of the glasses and pulled out wires thin as hair. Out came a mini camera, too. The camera was incredibly small, hidden inside the screw joint. You wouldn't notice it without a close look. I was stunned. Mark explained it was no wonder I missed it. These things are rare even for the police. Only a few have encountered them. Their precision is usually reserved for international spy work. Throughout his lengthy career, Mark had dealt with a few spies, which is why he knew about this gadget. Despite its size, the camera was powerful enough to record secretly and provide locations. I suddenly realized why Mike could always find me wherever I went. He must be behind this. A month ago, Mike insisted that I go play volleyball with him. I reluctantly agreed to go with him. We didn't play for long before Mike's volleyball hit me right on the forehead. Even my glasses got bent out of shape. Mike kept apologizing and promised to buy me a new pair. I was angry, but when I saw how stylish the new frames were, I forgave him. Thinking back now, that must have been when Mike started laying his plans. Just thinking about it makes me shiver. I didn't expect someone I was with every day to be scheming against me. I immediately handed this evidence over to the school. In my previous life, I was expelled from school after being accused of plagiarism, banned from taking exams. This time, there's no way I'm letting Fiona off the hook. I want to see how she plans to get out of it with that plagiarism tag on her. As for Mike, the mastermind, I'm not letting him off either. I wrote a report detailing how he helped Fiona cheat, and anonymously sent it to the leadership at Cambridge University. Isn't he always so proud of being a teaching assistant there? Well, I'll destroy what's most important to him. Let him feel what it's like to have nothing. After doing all that, I felt relieved. While Mike was busy running around the police station, I packed all my things and moved out. Since I got into Cambridge, the largest real estate company in the area rewarded me with $500,000 in cash. I spent $300,000 that very day on a small apartment. This would be my new place from now on. I didn't want to stay in that old house for even a second longer. When I left, I realized I only packed a suitcase of my things from that house, and it wasn't even full. Moving out made things a lot easier for me. I didn't have to deal with Mike and Chris trying to bother me anymore. I set aside money for tuition and then traveled a bit to relax. After all, I studied hard for 3 years, and it was exhausting. When I got back, I went to school and gave a gift to my teacher Ken. But unexpectedly, as soon as I left the office, Mike caught up with me. If I didn't know him so well, I almost wouldn't have recognized him. He had lost a lot of weight and looked worn out. With his scruffy beard and bloodshot eyes, he looked terrible. I didn't even have time to scream before he dragged me into a nearby storage room. He grabbed my collar and demanded, "Emma, where have you been? Don't you know I've been worried sick?" I rolled my eyes and said, "Are you worried about me? Or do you just want me to help Fiona clear her name?" Mike looked stunned, his voice raspy. "Emma, how can you think that? I'm your brother. We share the same blood." "Of course. I was worried about you." I sighed. "Oh really? Well, now that you've seen I'm fine, can I go now?" Saying that, I tried to shrug off his grip and leave, but he pulled me back. Seeing him hesitate, I leaned back and said, "Go on. What do you want me to do?" Mike hesitated before finally speaking. "You may not know this, but Fiona is my advisor's daughter. I promised to look after her. Now with this reputation, she's devastated. Emma, can you help her? I raised an eyebrow. Oh, and how do you suggest I help? Mike seemed to think I was agreeing to help. His eyes immediately brightened. Just say that the essay Fiona wrote was actually written by you as a joke. Then clarify that Fiona didn't plagiarize, and everything before was just a misunderstanding. Mike, are you serious? Mike nodded earnestly. I got angry. Mike, do you realize if I do that, it's a false police report? That's a serious offense that will go on my record for life, affecting future career prospects in politics. Are you sure about this? Mike seemed frustrated too. Emma, you already got into Cambridge University. Fiona has nothing. Can't you help her? I've never asked anything of you. Consider this a plea from your brother for a favor. Mike, you said you're my brother, but are you really? Or is it Fiona, who's actually your sister? Hearing my question, Mike turned pale. Emma, what are you talking about? I don't understand. When the DNA test results came back, I was shocked, but not surprised. Turns out, Mike really wasn't my biological brother. My gut told me this was just the beginning. So, I had someone look into Mike. What I found out shocked me. In truth, Fiona was Mike's real sister, and I was the biological daughter of those Cambridge University professors. Turns out, my biological mother Betty, and Mike's biological mother Eva gave birth in the same hospital room. Despite giving birth together, their family situations were worlds apart. Betty came from an aristocratic family, worth billions, and ran in elite circles. Growing up in her family would mean I'd be treated like a little princess. On the other hand, Eva came from a middle-class family, quite ordinary, with a boy already in the family. So any girl born into that family would have faced many challenges. Mike loved his sister dearly, so to give her a better life, he secretly swapped me and Fiona. Thus, I went from being a rich heiress to a girl from an ordinary family, but with my parents' genes. I always excelled academically. Neighbors always said I didn't seem like one of Eva's kids. Back then, I thought it was just a compliment, and never doubted my identity. Who would have thought I wasn't Eva's child? Seeing that I knew the truth, Mike showed a menacing look, just about to do something. I smirked. Dear brother, planning to silence me. Is Fiona really worth it? Saying that, I pulled out my phone and played a recording. It was a recording from a device I snuck onto Fiona. Mike is just so annoying, just like Chris. Does he really think I call him brother, because I see him as one? How naive. He's just a dog working for my dad, thinking he can climb up by flattering me. Really, with his age, how thick-skinned. And Chris, too, so annoying. I hate men who cross boundaries. If not for their promises to get me into Cambridge, I wouldn't deal with them. Hearing the recording, Mike's face flushed with anger and then paled. The menace on his face faded, replaced by fury. He must be planning to confront Fiona. I bet he never imagined his precious sister didn't actually care for him. That's karma for you. The next time I heard about them was through news of Mike's death and Fiona's imprisonment. Turns out, Fiona never knew she wasn't Eva's biological daughter. After listening to the recording, Mike, clinging to hope, told Fiona the truth about their parentage. He hoped Fiona would accept him as her brother, but to his surprise, Fiona didn't believe it and became hysterical. In a panic, she stabbed Mike with a fruit knife from the table. Chris witnessed the whole act, and in madness, Fiona stabbed him too. Chris's injuries weren't severe, but Mike didn't make it due to excessive blood loss. Fiona was sentenced to life imprisonment. When I heard the news, I was shocked, but also felt it was inevitable. After all, it was the karma the three of them had to face.